Welcome back to another episode of the There Will Be Bond podcast, episode 87, and we're going to be covering minutes 111 and 112 of Casino Royale today. This is the non-award-winning podcast and officially the only James Bond podcast not to have interviewed Raymond Benson. What do you think, Rob? Over there is Rob Smith. How are we doing today, Rob?
Hello. I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Well, we're coming up to the 100th episode, Rob, actually. That's around the corner.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's 87 now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we've got to think about something.
Celebrate that.
Yeah.
And it must be coming up to a year soon since I started on this.
But you'll have to go back through your diary.
Yeah. I wonder when the first one was. Because it was in the summer last year, and I remember having to get quite drunk beforehand because I was so nervous.
Oh.
Because I'd never been on a podcast before. You remember?
Yeah. Well, I got you on to talk about
We were doing
the
minute of the bomb maker, wasn't it?
Oh, really? So you decided to get hammered?
It was in the airport, wasn't it? And trying the sunglasses on and stuff.
Do you often drink when you're nervous?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Well, no, I don't. But if you're going to have to be talking in public, I think I probably do.
Yeah. What about?
Can't just to steady the nerves,
Do you do other? You haven't done any other podcast, have you?
I have.
You did the really
007.
You did the really.
Yeah.
Did you have to get hammered for that?
No, because I was a seasoned veteran by then.
Okay.
It's only the very first one I did here. I was very nervous.
Oh, bless. Well, you're all in now.
Yeah.
You're okay.
I'll have to find out what that date was, and we'll have to mark it.
No one
somehow.
cares. Rob, what?
I do.
Okay. I'm just saying, we've got a big anniversary coming up. Not your bloody first appearance. We've got the episode 100. We're going to have to do something.
But the fact that we've made it through a year together will be worth celebrating. We haven't killed each other yet.
Fair enough.
I think that should be celebrated.
Have you been up to anything Bondian this week, Rob?
I have.
Okay, I'm all ears.
I attended a Bond football match.
I want to know about this. This is the five-a-side tournament,
James
right?
Bond football match. It's funny. People said, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm going to a James Bond football match. You're like, "What? What's a James Bond football match?" So I had to explain that it was a five-a-side competition between teams, different members of the Bond community. And people were like, "Oh, that sounds nice." And so I went. I wasn't playing.
No.
I want to make that quite clear because I'm far too long in the tooth and I have a knee injury from driving to Chiswick every day practically.
Okay, so what were the teams?
So we had James Bond Radio,
okay,
who I was supporting.
Yeah.
We had Shaken Not Stirred.
Okay.
And Matt Wood from Shaken Not Stirred helped organise this. We had Cue the Music.
Yes.
Warren Ringham from Cue the Music also helped organise it. I think it was his idea initially with Chris Wright from JBR, who couldn't play. So Matt stepped in.
Why couldn't Chris play?
Because he's too busy all the time. He has a life.
He's the athletic one,
He's
like the bloody Ronaldo of the James
busy.
Bond world.
I know, he's too busy, bless him. So we had Cue the Music. We had 007 GB.
Okay.
And we also had the really 007 podcast guys who all came down from Manchester.
Did they bring their bullet awards with them?
No.
Did they get one each, or is it just one?
I think it's just one. I was asking Tom Pickup about it, and he did say that Roland said he's going to try and send him some award, some prize, yeah.
Right, okay.
I believe. But yeah, so those were the teams, and it was all in aid of Macmillan cancer nurses. So very, very good cause.
Very good.
And I believe that they have raised far more than the target. So
they got over $1,000, right? Or
did they? Well, the initial target was £500.
Yeah, no, they got over $1,000. Yeah.
That's amazing. So if you haven't donated yet, we can leave a link in the show notes.
Who was the best player?
Ooh, well, there was a child, but I don't know if he counts.
Okay.
I mean, he was doing very well and just kicking ass, and it's like.
Who did he play for?
All the Cue the Music, and they won.
They won, right? Okay.
Well, that's why, because no one could go near the child, but the child was just, stamping all over the middle-aged. 40,
well, everyone else is like
mid-50s,
with dad bods.
I know. Poor old Jason Carr, who's just turned 53, stumbling around. They were even going to get Terry Bamber in goal, and he's 65. Oh, yeah. But then somebody else stepped in.
Who played for JBR? Who's on the JBR team?
There was Jason Carr.
Right.
There was Rory Cooper.
Okay.
He was sort of the lead. He was very, very good.
Was Dobby there?
No.
Okay.
And there was John
Skillman?
John?
I don't know.
No.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not that interested. I just thought it didn't have like the original Tom Sears.
John Ward.
John Ward, of course. John Ward.
Yes. No. So Tom and Chris. Well, Tom was not interested in football, and Chris couldn't come because he's busy.
Right.
And then there was someone else who I didn't know, who was a mate of Roy's, I think.
All right, Rob.
And then we had obviously the people from the other teams who I've mentioned. Nick Fentiman was there supporting Sheikh Not Stirred with his wife Lena.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Was there any fights? Anything break out?
No. It was all very, very well behaved. It was good fun, you know. I mean, fortunately, it wasn't raining like the day before when I had my barbecue.
Yes, I know.
But the weather held out, and it was all good fun. And it was, as I say, they raised a lot of money, and yeah, it was great. There was one injury.
Who
on 007 GB team? Poor old
Kieran
Brown. Yes, sprained his ankle.
Yeah, you sprained your brain by the sound of it. You've brain farted on 2 names so far.
I have,
and
yes.
we're only 5 minutes in.
I know.
Yeah, all right.
So he sprained his ankle, but apart from that, no other injuries to report. But yeah, that was a nice way to spend a Sunday.
All right.
And about you? Anything
good.
Bondian for you this week?
Very good. Well, I actually went to see family this weekend. Yes, had a good time. Saw my brothers, my sister, my mum. My brother has done something very Bondian. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram. He's got a new 3D printing machine. And so he's printing like little...
Is that what you do, 3D printing?
I do, but I know I do 3D property scanning. So I do 3D scanning, but he does 3D printing.
Right.
Okay. And he's a listener to the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, he listens every week. And he's been putting these little props together, these James Bond props. So you might have seen those plaques.
I've seen the Universal Export
yeah.
stuff he's done. There's plaques, yeah.
So those
they're
plaques,
cool.
really, really cool. And I can't go into too much detail, but I can tell you this. He's been doing these... He's been working on this prop from Quantum of Solace. It's an earbud. So when Bond takes out the guy in the toilet before going in to see Tosca.
Yes,
right?
he takes it out and he puts it in.
Yeah,
so
but he empties like this goodie bag. And there's a couple of props that land in the sink. And one of them is this earbud.
Yes.
And you have quite a good look at it before he wedges it into his ear.
Ah, so
he's been making these
amazing.
earbuds. Yeah. And they're really...
What, he's going to sell them?
I don't know what he's going to do with them. I mean, I know he's got something lined up. And he's been putting the plaques out there. So if anyone's interested in the plaques, you can. I'll leave a link to his Instagram, and you can find him that way. But I've got something for you, Rob. You might be interested in this. So this is something that he did. 3D printing. A little treat for you there. You see that? That's a keyring.
007 keyring.
007 keyring. So he's done a 3D print. And you like the gold? You see, he's done a little gold. Keeping it in the whole
very nice.
Bondian touch. And this is for you, Rob, as well. A little prop.
And the red ribbon, is that in aid of anything?
I don't know. I guess the red ribbon is just nice.
Okay.
I'll find it's just a nice thing.
And this is for me to keep?
That's for you, yeah.
Oh, thank
little present
you.
for you. But this is the prop. This is for you as well. Have a look.
Oh.
So I'm giving Rob a little tiny box here. A little present for you.
It looks like it's like, gosh. Let's open this. Oh, wow.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
And that's the earbud. Isn't it cool?
How cool is that?
Yeah, it comes in a nice little foam
presentation box.
Yeah. And then
that is lovely.
Then you wedge that in your ear and you get to listen in
and then
on all the
doesn't come
Spectre
out
agents.
again, and then you get a load of earwax all over it.
That's it. You're getting no more fucking presents. No more presents. You are the worst present receiver I've ever known. Well, I gave Rob some aftershave for his birthday, and I think I've told you this before.
You have.
And he goes, why am I getting aftershave? I don't shave. Do I smell? Why am I getting aftershave? I don't smell. Do I smell? I don't shave.
Thank you
Give
very
me that
much.
fucking aftershave back.
Thank you very much.
All right.
There's lovely,
well,
lovely gifts.
Thank my
Please
brother.
Thank your brother.
Yes. So that's what I've been doing, and we'll post.
That's so cool.
We'll post
I'd
some.
love to meet your brother and thank him.
So we'll
I'd
post
like to meet
some
your brother one day.
photos of.
Has he come to London, your brother?
No, not really. Not much. Not much.
That's a shame.
But yeah, shall we, Rob? Crack on with some minutes.
I think we should.
I knew it was too early to promote you.
Well, I understand double O's have a very short life expectancy. So your mistake will be short-lived.
All right, Rob. Can you remember where we left it last time?
He was being tortured.
He was
being whipped with
he just had a
rope.
quick he had a quick whip
He was having his bollocks smashed,
right up the
wasn't he?
jacksie, wasn't it? It was like it was a tap though, wasn't
It
it?
was very painful.
Okay, we're going to pick it up here. Oh, this minute, Rob. I told you to remind me. This minute is sponsored
by...
if we even wrote it, by Wild on Heart, my favourite razor brand. You know what a razor is, don't you, Rob?
I do.
Good. It's there is a code. WH20 is the discount code you can use when you go online, and we'll leave a link in the show notes. Wildandheart.co.uk. They're British-made razors. They're beautiful, and you should check them out. All right, here we go. This is minute 111.
You know, I never understood all these elaborate tortures. It's the simplest thing to cause more pain than a man can possibly endure. And of course, it's not only the immediate agony, but the knowledge that if you do not heal soon enough, there will be little left to identify you as a man. The only question remains, will you heal in time? I want the money.
Oh, Rob! Oh, wow!
I can't watch this. I'm
That
feeling
is
it.
savage.
Are you feeling it down there?
Do you know what? Because I've got no... Look, I've not been swacked around the bollocks with a piece of rope. I have had a cricket ball go in the bollocks.
Oh,
when I
no.
was
Well, yeah,
younger.
but you have a box, though, when you played cricket.
I didn't
to
have
protect-
it that day. Not
What?
that day. No, I had it without a box. It got squared up right in the Jacobs. Right in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
Very painful. Very painful. Look, when was the last time anyone swacked a bit of rope on your fucking arse and bollock? You can't really put that into any kind of context because you've never had it.
No, but you know that it's a very sensitive area,
Yeah.
and it does get painful down there if there is any kind of impact.
Oh, look. I mean,
So to then see this, it's just eye-watering, isn't it? I can't bear it.
I do like how Mads has got a real hand on that rope. I mean, the way he swings
Oh,
it,
he has.
he's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a fucking cowboy.
He's loving it.
He's like Indiana Jones with that.
I was just thinking, looking at that room. Did you notice that all the chains hanging and there's hooks that look like there could be weapons of torture in there? So
I think this is reminiscent of something you'd see in Saw, which is, I think, later, isn't it? Saw came after Casino Royale, maybe. Actually, no. I think the original Saw
know
came
when
earlier.
Saw came out,
Let's Google it. Saw.
but it reminded me of Prime Suspect.
Oh, what, with Helen Mirren?
Yeah, the very first Prime Suspect that ended with a lockup in London, King's Cross, that was a favoured torture place. This is where he would take these women and rape them and then kill them, torture them.
Ooh.
And there were all these metal sort of hooks and things and chains hanging on the wall, and all this blood splattered on the wall. And yeah, it just reminded me of that. And I thought, I wonder if this is a place where, I mean, we mentioned it before, this might be a favoured place of torture, because it looks like they've done this before, in the way that they were cutting the chair out, the seat out of the chair.
Yeah, this could be their regular spot.
They've done this before.
This, we should say, Rob, remember we put the feelers out last week about where this
about
location
the
should be?
location of the barge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Philip Latchford sent me a link, something that Uwe posted,
Right.
and it is in Prague. It's a barge somewhere in Prague.
Oh, is it?
And I'm going to leave links on the show notes. I'm going to leave this, and
Okay.
he sent me the link, and he screen matched the place
Great.
where it was. Yeah, so it is found. It's out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because you
good to know.
spoke to Martin, didn't you, over the weekend?
Martin.
And he thinks it's in London.
He thought it was in London, yeah.
But I think it's in Prague or Karlovy Vary, one of the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
But yeah, it's found. It's not a mystery. So
But have you noticed that Le Chiffre seems to be sweating more than Bond?
yeah, he's
What's
really.
that? What's that all about then?
I think he's supposed to just look slimy, isn't he? You know, he's supposed to have. I mean, So when I was playing this back, recording it for the podcast, it's a very tough minute to play back and record because I basically what I have to do is ramp up the volume on the telly so that I can record it on the phone and play it back on the microphone. Now, if you're playing that full blast, the neighbours upstairs are going to be going, "Oh my God, he's into the fucking whooping of the bollocks scene again," or he's just thinking, "What? I don't know what they're doing down there, but it doesn't sound good. Do we call the police or what?" Imagine if they've not seen Bond and they don't know what. But it's like 9:30 in the morning, and all you can hear is Daniel Craig going. Yeah.
Oh God. I'm wondering if he's sweating because he knows that this is his last chance to get the money, and that if he fucks this up, he's had it, and Mr. White will come and kill him. And I'm sweating with fear.
Do you know what? I think he's so convinced. I mean, it's in a later minute, but Bond will go, "Look, you're dead. You're dead because your boys are going to chop you up in little bits," and he's confident that it doesn't matter, like because MI6 will take him back.
Right.
But anyway, so I just think he's always been very confident, hasn't he? So I think.
So you don't think that he's
fine.
sweating with fear? Then,
No,
because you can see all this sweat pouring off him while he's doing this.
I just think that's for the scene to make him look slimy.
Okay.
Enhance the evilness and the bastardness in him. Well, I've got a little bit of the Blu-ray. Was there anything else on the deluxe version of the Blu-ray? Did they speak about anything interesting?
Yeah, they said that Paul Haggis wrote this scene. And they were just saying how brilliant Daniel's performance is. And they also said that the sound was great in that scene. And that Chris Munro, who was heading up the sound team, won a BAFTA for Best Sound. And you can really see his work in this scene, or hear, I should say, his work in this scene. With all the echoing and stuff and all the... Yeah, because this was all overdubbed at Pinewood, everything. So, yeah, that's all they had to say, really.
Sounds-wise, surely the dialogue was...
Everything, I think.
recorded
The dialogue and the sound effects was all overdubbed at Pinewood later.
I can't believe that.
No, that's what they said.
Okay, well, I guess we have to go with it. No, I don't think that's true. I think the sounds, maybe.
But not the dialogue.
No. Well, on my Blu-ray commentary, they said that this was done in more or less one take.
Yes.
Because apart from some of the out shots, so the establishing shots of him walking around, most of the mid shots were all done in one take, and the dialogue, because they wanted to build the emotion and tense of the scene, so they had to do it in one take.
Yes.
And I struggled to believe that this dialogue was overdubbed because it just looks so raw in the moment. I mean, they're spitting these words out, and and the breathing as well when he looks at him. Again, it's in a later minute, but he goes. I love it. It just grunts at him. I think that's the
he
next
does.
bit. Yeah,
he does.
That's probably my favourite bit.
Yeah.
Well, look, so Paul Haggis might have wrote the dialogue, but this was in the book.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Right.
But Paul Haggis fleshed it out.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, the word yield as well. That's interesting because that's coming from the book. Will you yield in time? That's lifted from the book. Okay, well, I feel like we've got the idea, Rob. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that minute?
I don't think so.
Okie doke. Well, we're going to have an insert now. We've got Simon Firth. Yes, Simon Firth. I joined Simon Firth. He was presenting a book to some lovely Jamaican lady at I think it was the consulate.
Oh, yes.
I can't remember where it was.
This is for his new book, his Jamaica
he's
book.
He's got a new book out, The Locations of Bond in Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's not the name of it. I think it's Jamaica on the Tracks of James Bond. I think that's what it's called. And very interesting. I had a pint with him in the pub. I put the record button on, and this is how it turned out. And we'll be back after this. I'm with my good friend Simon Firth. How are we doing today, Simon?
Yeah, very good indeed. How are you?
Yes, yeah. We've stopped off for a very impromptu pint somewhere in Chelsea, I believe.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yes. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Great seeing you, and congratulations on the release of the new book on the Tracks of 007, the Jamaica edition. Is that the proper title?
A little change. For whatever reason, we always seem to shake it up a little bit. So this one's going to be called Jamaica on the Tracks of James Bond.
Nice. And so, we had a lovely meeting at the house, the Jamaican embassy, is that?
Jamaican consulate, and also the offices for Jampra, and also the offices for Visit Jamaica, their tourism department. Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It was a lovely presentation. You handed the book over to the lady who was very sweet, and then talked all about the book. But I'd like for you to at least repeat some of that here.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm interested. So, I heard this book took about 3 months to do. The majority was written in 3 months. How was the process for this book? Was it any different to the others that you've written previously?
In terms of the process, it was fairly similar in the sense that I start off with a scope, so a long list of all of the locations. So the films, the books where people close to the history of Bond lived, and I just create a long list. I send that over to Martijn Mulder. He looks to see whether I've made any egregious omissions, and then at that point I then go put them all into Google Maps to create, let's say, a driving tour or a walking tour. So if someone finds themselves only up in northeast Jamaica, then they can go from point A to point B, and then they'll cover everything that they have in that part of the world. What this means is that we're in geographical sequence, but we are not in film sequence or book sequence.
So that makes it easier for people that go there to kind of go from step to step to step without going back and forth from one side of the island to the other.
Exactly that. Yeah, I can't take credit for the idea. This was very much Martijn Mulder.
Right. Okay. But it makes sense in a way that, because as you know, I'm trying to put a little map together of the locations of the boat chase from The World Is Not Enough, and that all jumps around from bit to bit. And I find it's going to be more helpful to, rather than just go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is that to actually kind of go, right, you want to leap from point 1 to point 4 to point 7 to point 10, because they're all closer together, and you'll be able to do it maybe in a day or day or two. But if you go from the start where the boat comes out, and then you have to leap along to the O2 or whatever it might be, you're going to go back and forth and spend a small fortune on tube fares.
Yeah, you want to stick into film sequence, then this is for the energetic. And nowadays, who has that amount of energy or time?
Right. Well, I'm also curious, within the process, were there like really nice eureka moments? I remember the Bahamas, I believe the Bahamas book, where you did the house from Never Say Never Again, and you kind of schlepped up there and you got cuts and bruises, and you found the training building amongst all the undergrowth, and I know that was quite a moment for you. Were there moments in this book where you perhaps stumbled upon things that weren't previously discovered, or any moments like that in the process?
Oh, to be honest, there always is with this thing. I mean, when I was just talking earlier about the scope is broken down into, eventually it is broken down into 3 areas. You get the known knowns, which, for sake of argument, would be exemplified by, we know that James Bond met Honey Child Ryder on a beach. And we know that beach is called Laughing Waters. It's a known. Let's say a known unknown is we know that Roger Moore's Bond with Quarrel Jr. Leapt onto a beach for the island of San Monique. But at the point at which I started writing it, I didn't know where that was. But then always the most exciting parts of these books are the unknown unknowns, which can only really sort of come about by, I think, asking random questions, open questions, keeping in touch with people. People might end up coming up with something, or speaking with someone and thinking, actually, you know what, that guy Simon, he might be the person to talk about this, and I wonder if he knows. Now, 9 times out of 10, you do tend to know most of the things, but there certainly were a couple of absolutely eureka moments.
And I was going to ask, in the midst of that as well, Jamaica's known for being the Ian Fleming hub as well. You know, GoldenEye wrote the books there. Did you anticipate, or did you appreciate going in that this would be a lot of Fleming and a lot of Bond? So there'd be a lot of film, but there'd also be a lot of literary and the life of Ian Fleming. I presume you couldn't completely leave out the life of Ian Fleming and where he's been.
No, absolutely not. These books always look at obviously the films. They look at the books, where the books were set, and specific to Jamaica, obviously the people most closely connected to the history of Bond, in this case, let us say Ian Fleming, where they lived, but also where they worked, where they drank, where they ate, and that was why one of the people that we had at the Jamaican consulate just earlier was Olivia Morrow of the Jamaica Inn. The Jamaica Inn is a beautiful bijou family-run hotel. It is not itself a James Bond location. It is name-checked in the short story Octopussy, but it was one of Ian Fleming's most favourite of all places to drink. His friends stayed there. Noel Coward's friends stayed there as well when they came to visit. So yeah, this is very much a way of looking at the history of Bond from the 1940s through to present day.
Yeah, and listening to Olivia speak, she was fascinating. She was saying about how she thinks the history of the Shaken Not Stirred was brought about within that inn as well, and they played James Bond films on the beach like once a week. So I mean, they really do embrace the Bond element there, which is really sweet. So yeah, I mean it's and then the 90% of the work was done, you say, within 3 months, and then the rest is like extra detective work or people getting back to you. I mean, what are the add-ons?
So there were a couple of locations which I knew from going in to the book that were always going to take a lot longer to resolve. And to be honest, going into a book of this nature, everyone's going to immediately think, oh, GoldenEye, 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 which is absolutely as it should be. But the thing actually I found myself most motivated by, and that which I actually wrote into the introduction, so almost writing myself into a hole if I didn't find it, was what motivated Ian Fleming to even consider Jamaica as being somewhere to live. And to the thrust of these books, does that place still exist, and also can one visit? So, I mean, 1943, Ian Fleming was sent to Jamaica to attend a conference. He went along with his best friend Ivar Bryce. The conference was to look at the German U-boat situation that was making a mess of the trade routes from that part of the world and Europe. The conference was at the Myrtle Bank Hotel in Kingston. That is no longer existing, but where they stayed was Ivar Bryce's wife at the time house. And it's well documented within a couple of books that house is called Bellevue. And I wanted to find out about Bellevue, because Bellevue was the reason why Ian Fleming, to my mind, considered Jamaica as being a possible place to live, right. And why indeed GoldenEye came to be. Now, to be honest, I started doing the research for this element at the same time as I started researching for the beginning of the book. The beginning of the book starts with GoldenEye, and it works around in a clockwise fashion. And Bellevue was somewhere in the foothills of the Blue Mountains, just north of Kingston. So I figured that as I worked around in a circular clockwise motion around Jamaica, that I would hopefully have some information by the time I actually arrived at the point at which I should have been writing about Bellevue. There are all sorts of houses. There are many houses called Bellevue. I was sent down a couple of rabbit warrens, but to the end point, the answer to the two questions as to whether does it still exist and can one visit is sort of, and yes. I eventually met...
A bit like the Fleming Villa itself.
I met and found a lady who hails from Boston, and she is living in Jamaica and set up an architect firm, and she has bought the land on which Bellevue sat. The Bellevue house, unfortunately, is in a little bit of ruins, and it has been sort of fortified and made as a central garden construct around which cottages have been built. Bellevue is there to be celebrated. They would love to have visitors, and if people would wish to take a pilgrimage to not only GoldenEye but the area, the scene, the view, the part of the island which first inspired Ian Fleming to live in Jamaica, then that can be seen.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Well, that's great. I mean, especially like for Fleming fans as well, and like Bond fans. So actually have access to stuff like that is gold, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a residence, so
Right.
I put in the book. I have put in all of the detail to get in touch with the lady
Right.
and to organise an appointment to view.
So how much research goes in to a book like this before you even start writing the book? I mean, are you reading like the Lysett biography of Fleming, or doing the Taschens and going through the Blu-rays and looking at the location points? I mean, is there the research element that must go into something like this? Must be, well, as monumental as doing the writing itself.
Yes, there was. I mean, the research, I think, really takes place at the time and the point at which I start to write about the location, the place. Certainly, there are already a number of books out there about GoldenEye, Jamaica, Bond and Fleming in Jamaica. Actually, one of the reasons why I thought initially that this book might actually not really deserve to be, so it gave me some cause for thought. But yeah,
Did you have the Matthew Parker book?
Yes,
as well?
indeed. Yeah,
So, I mean that's probably.
There were 3 books that I thought were relevant to this. There was Matthew Parker's GoldenEye, there was James Chapman's book about the making of Dr. No, and obliquely, let's say, Ian Fleming introduces Jamaica. So I have all of those. I have read the books in entirety. At the point at which I want to put information into the book, I then refer to the index and this, that, and the other. However, I do want to make a point that this book, my book, our book, is not a regurgitation of that which has been done and researched by other people. I said in the introduction that these 2 books will make good companion pieces for this one. So don't expect, going into this, that you'll get to read everything about that Matthew Parker or James Chapman wrote. You will not.
Right. Well, I've got a couple of questions that have been burning in my mind. I've been thinking about the banana plant that Ian Fleming stands in front of in that famous picture in Jamaica. Did you find the banana plant? I mean, I know it's 60 years old, but there's a strong chance that's still there, right?
My God, is it too late? Is it too late to add this in?
We can have like an addendum, like a yearly published book. We could just keep adding to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Bond in Jamaica 2026, new edition coming out. The banana plant.
Banana plant found.
Yeah, excellent.
Although, I was going to ask you this because I was just thinking about it as you were talking. That I'm aware you're like on social media, but in terms of when people find locations or they find things out about Bond or Fleming, and it might be new material, they're very, very quick, I find, to get online, like post about it, tweet about it, Instagram about it, and almost put their flag in the ground to say, like, I was here first for that. I feel like with you, and I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth, there's more delayed gratification with all that stuff. You don't talk about it when you find it. You don't go, huzzah, here it is, I found it. You go, right, here's the research, here's the book, it's all in here, you can find it.
Yes, to be honest, honestly, I'm just a words guy, I'm just a reporter. There are many, many people that have walked these tracks and these beaches before me. There are people who have put in a lot of hard work, and they do help me as well. Thomas Gleitzman being one, obviously Martin Mulder being another. They do their own work. The French chap, Julien Abouzi, was very, very prominent in everything to do with the previous book, the last year's book. To be honest, there's a one rare occasion where I did come across a location which everyone else did not believe existed, and because of Thomas Gleitzman's work, help and assistance in the past, I did actually just let him know that this place was actually a location and not a film set.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica, yes. But in terms of, in terms of saying I was here first, no one's ever really there first. To be honest, it's I'm just a reporter.
A bloody good one at that, mate.
Thank you, thank you.
That's great. It's almost timely that someone's popped a bottle of champagne, I think, in the background to see if we can hijack that, maybe. Listen, great talking to you, Simon. As always, congratulations on the book.
Thank
By
you.
the time the podcast has come out, you'll already have had the launch, but I'm sure people can find the book online on the tracks of 007.com.
And Amazon and all the usual online places. Yes,
Wonderful.
yes.
And we'll leave a link in the show notes. Cheers, Simon.
Yep, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Simon Firth there. Thank you, Simon. Yes, the book is out. I will leave a link in the show notes. I'm sure you've already got it. Anyone listening to this? Rob, it is a podcast. You can't just look at me. All right, then. Let's get on to minute 112, shall we, Rob?
I think we should.
Yeah, let's do that. And we've got listener mail to get onto. I'm looking forward to some listener mail. I think you'll like the listener mail coming up. Yeah. Okay, so we left it. Bond still strapped to the chair. He's not in a good place.
No.
We'll pick it up now, and we'll see you on the... Oh, this minute, Rob, is sponsored by Prop Store, isn't it? Yes, Prop Store. Yes, we've got an auction that's going on right now with a couple of Bond lots. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What have we got?
We've got the Whittaker costume still, the Moonraker costume, and the vest from Octopussy. But there's plenty of other things that you can all bid on, and I'm sure you will find out when you when you click on the link. Okay, here we go.
Miss Lynn will give me the account number, if she hasn't already. So all I need from you is the password.
That's it. Yeah.
The password, please. I got the wretch. Would you mind?
Oh.
No! To the right! To the right! To the right! You are a funny man, Mr. Bond.
Here we go.
Yeah! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Oh, Rob! Wow.
It stops just before the famous line.
The famous line, yeah. But we got the little itch in there.
We did.
And the grunt there.
Yeah, the grunt's good, isn't it?
I think that's I don't know, it's my favourite bit of the film.
What,
but it's just the pause between the grunts he does as well. So he goes, and then,
Yeah. He's he's
good.
trying to recover from
Can we play the grunts?
He's
back
trying to
again?
recover from the pain, isn't he?
I want to get the grunt.
He's yeah.
Okay, can I get the? I want to do the grunts.
You got to
again.
cue it up to the
Yeah,
right place.
yeah,
You got to. You don't want to hear anything else.
No. I just want to do the grunts. Ready? Right, here we go. There it is. You probably can't hear it, but
Yeah.
well, so I have been reading up, and you do apparently when you get tortured like this, one of the main things you need to do and focus on is your breathing
Right.
to kind of stymie the
Well,
pain.
Bond must
And-
have known that.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's doing here.
Yeah.
He's taking some stock, he's calibrating everything going
Yeah.
on, and he's just going,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
because he doesn't want to hyperventilate.
No. That's really interesting.
Well, actually, the going back to the book, one of the most interesting things about this scene that they talk about in the book, how Fleming writes this, is how anyone gets tortured, the best thing you can do is just pass out.
Yeah. Well, he does that in Goldfinger, doesn't he? When he's got the saw coming up between his legs.
Does he pass out?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he actually does a thing mentally.
You mean the laser coming up between his legs?
No, that's in the film. In the book, it was a saw.
Oh, sorry. Right, okay. That's
And
what
in
it
the book, he
Ah.
does a thing to make himself pass out.
Right.
And I think they tried to do that in Die Another Day in the film. You know, at the beginning when he's there with the Korean nurse,
Yep.
and then they're suddenly concerned and they're trying to resuscitate him. I think
Yeah.
he's
He
doing
drops
the
his
same,
blood level.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing that he did in the Goldfinger.
Right, he's
book.
lowering his heartbeat.
Yeah,
to
yeah. There's a thing you can do
Right.
to make that happen and make yourself pass out.
So the worst thing you could do is obviously stay conscious while you're getting tortured, but
Yeah.
then not control your breathing and have all these like weird emotions and panic sets in and all this sort of stuff. And you, after a time of being tortured, if you are awake, you then start to fall in love with the person torturing you. You have like this weird relationship with them somehow. I don't know. It was just really
Stockholm syndrome.
kind of like that, but on a swacking your bollocks level.
Yeah.
That's what Fleming wrote about in the book, and I thought it was very interesting, Robert. Very interesting. So we have a very sweaty Le Chiffre. Oh God!
I must say, looking at Bond's face with all those cuts, all his bloodied face, it reminds me of the final scene in License to Kill. Well, not the very final scene, License to Kill. The scene at the end of the tanker chase. You know, when his face is all smashed up and he's crawling along,
Yeah,
and you can see all the blood on his face. And I don't think we've seen that
since License
to Kill. I don't ever remember seeing Pierce with a bloodied face like that. To that
Oh,
extent.
come on! Well,
maybe.
Xena on top bit him in the sauna, didn't she?
Oh,
and then he has to kick.
He hasn't got. Yeah.
she has to like throw him off, and then he
split lip.
he like
Split
dabs
lip.
his lip, doesn't he?
I mean, I guess he was tortured in Die Another Day, wasn't he? But I just remember the long hair in that. I don't remember great gashes of blood all over his cheeks and stuff. I don't ever remember seeing that on Pierce.
Trying to put that to the back of my mind. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, we've got it right here.
We have. We're going to discuss that in our video.
Yeah, we've got a video coming up. We've got a couple of books we're going to review. And one of them is
someone's
The
just come in
Making
to
of
join
Die Another
us.
Day. Hey,
Hello,
Roger.
Roger.
Right,
He's
buddy?
just come in to join us. He's just walked in.
He's like, what the fuck are you guys
Oh,
talking about?
hello, Roger.
So there we go. Oh, I'll tell you one other thing about this minute. I love how the chief knows that he's got to give him another beating. You know, I've got an itch down there. Would you mind? And the camera kind of draws out. It pans out just at the time when Lashif takes the stool chair that he was sitting on, swishes that back in one hand, grabs the rope and does the lassoing, all in one very smooth motion. It's fucking beautiful. I'm going to play it again for you. It's beautiful.
Well, they were using a dolly. Tracking
Yeah,
that, weren't
that's right.
they?
Yeah. So, like, here we go. Here we go. Right. So he gets up. Here we go. Play. There goes the chair.
Yeah.
Here comes. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's done seamlessly, isn't it?
Yeah. The
It's
way he
really
just
good.
hurls the stool to
Hurls
the
the
back of the
stool,
room
and then just
whips
swish.
it out. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He had to be happy with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, they're at it again, these two. The cats.
Oh,
Look,
Roger and Mishka.
Mishka's come
flirting.
to join.
Bit of flirting going on.
There is. They're sweet, these two.
There it is.
Oh,
There
well,
she
look.
goes, presenting.
Yeah,
You
rolling over.
Absolute floozy.
Come on, watch. Come on,
Okay, Rob, I feel like we've done as much as we can with that minute. Shall we get on to some listener mail?
Oh, yes.
Do you have any messages for me?
I have a small surprise from your friends back at the barracks.
Excellent. We have been granted an audience.
All right, we have. Well, I'll tell you what. Some listener mail, but I'll keep the name discreet. So this is from Anonymous. On next week's podcast, could you do something about all the Bond community channels who in the space of 24 hours are now all experts in gaming after never once fucking mentioning Bond video games ever before until now? Asking for a friend, says Anon. Well, so there has been some very big news this week about the what's the name of the film, Rob? Ready for Light or Come Into the Light?
Oh, First Light?
First Light? Okay, there it is.
I think. I don't know.
But look, we'll leave it to the experts. We'll leave it to the people that know about gaming, because apparently everybody does.
Yes, it's First Light.
First Light, yeah.
Yes.
Is that what you were looking up?
Yes.
God.
I'm not interested in gaming. You know this.
I know.
It's not the slightest bit interested.
But I did.
There are people who are, so we need to.
I should say I liked the trailer. I really did. I know Joe Darlington
you?
hated it. I thought it was fantastic.
I didn't like it.
No, I liked the music. They kicked in with the music. They got the Persuaders, Aston Martin in there.
Yeah, why have they got the Persuaders Aston Martin?
I know,
That
but I was
annoyed
like,
me.
I like the colour of that.
Yeah, but it's the Persuaders. It's not Bond.
Oh, you had some news that just came in, didn't you, about all the brands that have been
yes.
mentioned? Yeah.
Yes,
So-
they've made an announcement within the last hour.
Well, I mean, it's Tuesday as we're recording this, Rob. It's going
Yeah,
to
so
be
it'll be old news when this comes out.
Who,
But they
name
made
the
an
brands.
The 007 First Light Instagram account made an announcement saying, "We are thrilled to be working closely with our key partners to build a brand new James Bond game experience." And they've listed their key partners as Aston Martin, Coca-Cola, All Bar Brown, Herman Miller Gaming, Jaguar, Range Rover, Defender, so Land Rover, Omega, what's this? GeForce RTX. Oh, powering advanced AI, apparently.
Oh boy.
And Leica, is it?
Leica.
Leica.
It's
the
camera
people,
company. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they were big in No Time to Die, right? Because Leica gave a load of cameras around to the talent on set.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and each of them did a load of photos for behind the scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have you not seen? I'll show you the magazine. But they then published. They did an exhibition down in.
Oh no, I I do
Just up Bond
remember
Street,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go and see it, but I do remember the exhibition. Yes.
I went. It was fantastic.
Yes. So so you enjoyed the trailer. That's good.
So I think some of the pushback, at least that I've heard from Joe Darlington from being James Bond, was saying that he thought it was a mishmash of other franchises like Bourne, John Wick, and all that. I actually didn't get that. Maybe I was way off mark, but I thought they had the crocodiles, the crocodile pit as well, when they're hanging upside down in the crocodile pit. I thought that was good. They had the Majesty score. I love it when they put a Majesty score in the trailer, because they did that with Spectre, if you remember.
I do.
Yeah, and I thought, oh god, I just love it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really, really good. Love it when they put the Majesty score on anything. And I'll tell you what I didn't like, and this will piss a lot of people off. I didn't like the overuse of Amiga in there, because they mentioned it twice in the trailer, and I'm thinking, do you need it twice? And do you need it so obvious? I like a little bit of subtlety, but look, I'm not a massive Amiga guy. I know a lot of people are, so that's on me. That's fine. But overall, I was very. Look, I'm not going to play the game. I don't play games, but I liked looking at the trailer. I enjoyed it.
I didn't like it. It didn't feel like Bond to me.
Right.
And seeing
Why?
Bond, it didn't look like Bond for a start.
He had a scar.
I thought, who the hell's that? It just reminded me of James Bond Jr. And I couldn't stand James Bond Jr. And I thought, who are these people in M's office? Is this one of these people meant to be M? Is one the chief of staff? I don't know who they are. And I didn't like it. And then the Aston Martin appeared, and it was the Persuaders Aston Martin. I thought, why have they put the Persuaders Aston Martin in? Is that just harking back to Roger Moore? Is that just because they've got it wrong? I don't know. That left me a bit confused. And I just thought, oh God, I mean, it was nice to hear the Majesty's score, but I don't. Unlike you, I don't go nuts over it. I almost feel like they're shoehorning that in.
See, I think they're shoehorning in the brands.
Yeah, well,
rather than
I
the
think
music.
They're shoehorning in the music just to sort of appeal to
maybe.
the older fan and
Well,
say,
look,
hey, let's get the oldies in. Let's play a bit of Majesties.
It's not as egregious shoehorning of Majesties in No Time to Die.
Well,
like, they're just at Hammersmith Bridge going, come on, Bond, back to work. Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
know.
dun. Yeah.
I have mixed feelings over that.
But that's that. That's that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the target audience for this because I'm, pushing 50 now, and I've never been a gamer. But, and this is the thing, a lot of the older fans, my age and older, they are appalled by the trailer. From all the groups, they are seriously appalled. I am on many.
The things that are
groups.
going on in Israel and Palestine, they're okay with. Doesn't move the needle, but anything to do with a Bond video game trailer.
On the other hand,
taking to
there
the
are
streets.
fans who are younger than me, the GoldenEye generation, who discovered Bond through the GoldenEye game. Some of them, and they're loving it.
Yeah.
They're really excited about it. So that's great. That's good news. And I, as I said, I've actually got a mate who worked on this. And I wanted to get him on the pod to talk about it, but unfortunately he signed lots of NDAs, so he can't come on and talk about his involvement at all. But he did say that it was very much aimed at the younger Bond fan, not people like me and older, not the old school fan. So that was a deliberate decision. So
Didn't he say that in the text that you sent me? Like,
Yeah.
it's not aimed at you old fuck.
basically,
It's
yeah.
aimed at people that are 20 and above.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that's fair enough, So it is what it is. So anything that gets Bond into the public consciousness, as far as I'm concerned, is a good thing.
With you on that.
Yeah.
So, Joe, the enthusiast.
Oh, yes.
The Bond enthusiast, Joe from the Bond enthusiast. He wrote in. He
Oh,
said
yes.
the rope in the international, the rope in the scene.
Oh,
like
yes, the
sheath-
knot that you weren't sure
Well,
about.
the actual rope. The actual
yeah.
rope it was in the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C.
Oh, really? The actual rope?
And it was an exhibit called Exquisitely Evil. And he sent me a picture. I'm going to show you this, Rob, right now. I should have brought it up earlier, but Jesus Christ. And there's a rope.
Oh, wow. But do we know it actually is the rope? It could be any old rope, couldn't it?
Well, you want to go in and smell it, don't you? Let me find out
Well,
for
you
sure.
do.
Yeah. They should have a little hole.
Can I
That's
see
why
that
they've
again?
got perspex over it, so that you don't go in and
I
do
mean,
an
is it just
inspection.
me, or does the bottom of that rope look like a pair of testicles?
It does. Doesn't it? It looks like a huge pair. It looks like Bond's testicles have just got cemented to that rope.
I know. There's definitely a scrotum on the bottom of that rope.
So we'll post that. We'll post that on the,
Picture
on
of
the
the
show notes.
scrotum.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rob, finally we got a message from David Zaritsky. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we got a jingle for David, haven't we?
David! David, talk to me!
Now talk.
Hey, Pete, it's David Turtsky for the Bond Experience. Hope you're doing well. Hey, wanted to give you and Rob a little help on the knot for the rope seen and used in Casino Royale. First of all, it is unknown, as you said, that it's in a private collection, but it is known, and it is the monkey's paw. I think you said monkey's fist. It is the monkey's paw. That is the knot. That is the way they tied the rope. And I think they actually had a couple stunt ropes as well. But it is the monkey's paw. Actually had Ed Maggiani, who's a prop maker, try to make me one. Not incredibly successful. Still working on it. So if you're going to start selling these, I'm all for it. So again, it's a monkey's paw. Monkey's fist, I think, is the thing that is up Rob's ass. No offense to Rob, but, judging by the fact that he was covering his girlfriend's mouth while she tried to scream, which, come on, let's be realistic. Is Rob making his girlfriend scream? So come on, guys, truth and fact, that's what we want. But the whole fact that he would even say that to try to, stifle somebody during their sexual throes, or in Rob's case, their sexual just get it over with, is just, no, Rob, don't do that. And then his whole ick about Mads Mikkelsen, potentially having kind of a sexual innuendo, something sensual towards Bond. There's something repressed there. I, as an avid and rabid listener, would like to request a psychiatry couch moment between you and Rob, where you can get to the matter, because he just seems repulsed. It could be something that happened, and by the way, this is very much on brand for Bond, because Bond himself may have some repressed urges, some issues when he was young with housekeepers. I know Fleming, had some sensuality focus, of course. I mean, it was a very randy day, so maybe Rob is just of a different era. Maybe there's nothing wrong with Rob. Maybe there's no monkey's paw up his ass. No, there's probably that. Anyway, thanks, and I forgot what we were talking about.
Well, there we go.
The rope.
Thank you, David. The rope.
That's charming, that is.
I'm
isn't it?
glad someone else picked up on the fact that you put your hand over women's mouth when to stop them groaning. We'll have none of that sexual pleasure in my house. Thank you very much.
I didn't put my hand over her mouth. I was just like, keep it down,
Keep
love.
it down, love.
We
Yeah, keep it down.
you don't need the neighbours to hear all this.
I've got you at a 3. I could do with you at a 1. I've got a story to tell you off mic about something sexual and groanings, but probably best off mic. Well, I think that's probably it. We already did Philip Latchford giving us the location. Oh, we got some thank yous, Rob. Shall we get into some thank yous?
Yes.
Well, we have Ian Jacklin, Sean Custer and David Aman. You all bought some London Bond maps. Thank you. But we do have someone that's left a nice, honest 5-star review on iTunes. Rob, who is it?
So that is Pete Savage, who is a friend of mine from the Bond community.
Nice.
You don't know Pete Savage?
No.
Oh.
Great name.
Yeah, Pete's great. He's lovely. So I told him about the podcast at
Right.
Amberley.
Okay.
And he promptly went off and listened to it, loved it, and he has written, knowledgeable and fun. Great little podcast, very relaxed but fun and informative. The boys are professional.
Great little.
This has been keeping me company on my daily commute. Thanks, guys. Oh, thank you, Pete.
Little podcast, eh? Little podcast.
Yeah.
I've got myself a recording studio here, microphones, a sound card. Take an hour out of my day, get all the fucking show. Little.
Hour and a half. We got to do the Patreon one as well.
I know, we've got to do the Patreon.
Yeah.
There will be more Bond.
Yeah.
Looking for it. Well,
Not
actually,
to
no, I'm
mention the video for the YouTube channel.
Oh, it's all go. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pete. You all get a thank you from him.
Oh, thank you, 007.
That's it, Rob. We're going to do a Patreon show now. There will be more Bond, where we're going to continue the rundown of our favourite films of all time.
Non-Bond.
Non-Bond films, I should stress. Yes. Looking forward to that. Right,
Me too.
okay. So tune in. We'll leave links. You should come over to the Patreon, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff is happening
Oh,
over there.
yes.
Yeah, well, look, I also did the match report. You might have seen us. I did like some reviews. So every week you get early access to the YouTube videos, early access to the free show, which is this one, and you get a match report as well.
Jolly
and you get
good.
see pictures of the rope that looks like Daniel Craig's bollocks. Well, we'll be posting them. Okay.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. All our patrons, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Right, we'll see you over there. Until next time.
Ciao.